All right, if it fits your macros, you're going to need a few supplies to start this way to track your calories. I don't want to say diet because you'll see in the later portion of this video that you could really eat foods you want and there's no restriction. So the few things you need to start this program is a food scale. That is crucial. You're also going to need a bathroom scale to weigh your own body and a way to track what you eat via mobile phone app or a website that tracks your calories. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the macronutrients first. Okay, let's talk about the three major ones. There's carbs, and there's fats, and there's proteins. Now that's what you're going to be tracking generally: your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. So on websites, you'll find calculators to figure out what you need first or what you need in general. You plug in your body weight, your body fat maybe, and whatever, that calculator will spit out a number. First things you might notice, the protein might be higher than you're used to. Carbs might be lower than you're used to. And that's depending on whether you want to lose weight, cut, maintain, or gain weight, bulk. So you're really just following those three things to keep it simple for now: your carbs, fats, and proteins. I'd recommend that you would do this program on a weight training program. That being said, as far as I know, this started off as a bodybuilding way to track your calories. So that being said, I want to warn you that this doesn't take into consideration health of the body. It more takes into consideration body composition. So that being said, if you have any medical problems, if you have any health issues, be very careful on this program. Now, that's not to say that this can't be healthy for the body. It actually can be very healthy for the body, but it's not specifically for health. It's specifically for body composition, whether you're losing weight, cutting, maintaining, or gaining weight, bulking. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So carbs, fats, and proteins. Now, the reason why you need a bathroom scale is to weigh yourself. And that's the only way to track whether you're going towards your goals. So for this video, I'll just use losing weight as a goal. So let's talk about losing weight. Now, every day, you want to wake up at the same time after you use the bathroom is to weigh yourself. You want to weigh yourself completely naked, no clothes on. That's going to give you the most accurate reading. From there, you want to mark it on a calendar. Just for example, today I weighed 145.5. The next day, you weighed maybe 145.9. And the day after that, maybe 45.0. So you could see that the weight will fluctuate day in, day out. But over time, what you want to do through the month, I always go by month cycles, or maybe 3 to 4 week cycles. You take the average of your weight to see if you're actually losing weight, because your body will fluctuate as far as water weight is concerned. That's why I always recommend the same time every day, and after you use the bathroom, first thing in the morning. Taking the average of that will really show you whether or not you're losing weight. So that's the bathroom scale. Now, food scale is used for measuring, here in America, measuring your food usually in ounces or grams. That being said, usually you weigh like a solid food in grams, whether it be chicken, whether it be broccoli, or you could weigh liquid foods, obviously in ounces, whether it be something like milk that has calories, or juice that has calories. You do want to be tracking your water, but that obviously doesn't have any calories. It doesn't have any fats, carbs, or protein. So we'll leave that out for now. We'll talk specifically about food. In this video, we'll talk about weight loss. All right. So we know that we have to track our weight consistently every day, day in and day out. Write it down on a calendar. At least that's what I do. You could probably save it in your phone. That's to track how much you weigh. Now, the food scale will help us track how much we eat. You're also going to need, once again, that app, that mobile app, or a website where you could calculate how much food you're eating. There's plenty of good ones out there. I use My Plate, Livestrong. There's MyFitnessPal, a bunch of other ones. You could Google whatever. I think MyFitnessPal is probably the most popular one as far as if it fits your macros. But I don't use it. So figure out what you like to use, what you could use on your phone. You want the best, the most easiest way possible. Before I got a smartphone, I would just write down on a piece of paper what I would eat, and I would just log it on the website itself. Some people like just plugging it straight into their phone. With those websites, you could see they have a bunch of foods already in their search engine, so it really takes the work out of it. You could put a banana in there, and it'll show how many calories, how many carbs, and how many fats and proteins are in that banana. This will also teach you over time the what's actually in food. A lot of people don't know that there's like little trace amounts of protein in oatmeal, or that's just an example. But you'll really get to see what constitutes a food once you start tracking your macronutrients. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So you're going to need that app or that website. Basically, just sign up and use that to track your food. So let's talk about the actual numbers that you should follow as far as your macronutrients, carbs, fats, and protein. Now, this really depends. Once again, you'll notice on all these calculators, once you plug your information in, the protein levels are high, okay? Some people might even consider them too high. Now, this is where the fun part comes into play, and also what works for you as an individual. So, what I noticed is, being that the protein is high, we're considering that you are on a strength training program, or you do some kind of resistance training along with cardio. The example being cutting weight here, or losing weight. So protein is high, but we could also manipulate these numbers. Fats we can manipulate, and carbs we can manipulate. So say, for example, a person wants to lose weight. Okay, lose weight, body fat specifically. What do they want to do? They have three numbers in front of them. They have a number for carbs, they have a number for fats, and they have a number for protein. So over time, we could see that we're marking our actual body weight on the calendar. Let's say we're not losing any weight. What do? We have to manipulate those numbers in order to lose that weight. So first thing we want to do is look at the carbohydrates. We could cut the carbohydrates a little bit lower for the 3 to 4 to month cycle and go from there. Now, you never want to cut anything too low, too drastically. That's another good thing about this program is for carbohydrates, you could cut them anywhere from 10 to maybe 50 grams. I never really cut anything personally higher than that, but that's what's really going to scale down the weight over time in a healthy fashion, and it's really not going to damage your metabolism. If anything, it's going to help your metabolism. Okay, so you'll notice that I talked about carbs. You would slowly cut the carbs, okay, or you could slowly cut the fats. Now, I wouldn't do both of those at the same time. I would really experiment with the body. Okay, just speaking from personal experience, carbs really have an effect on me as far as weight gain or weight loss. Now, that's not to say the same for you. You might experience that cutting the fats, okay, might actually help you with weight loss, or even keeping the fats high and once again cutting the carbs. It really depends, okay? But I wouldn't do both at the same time. I wouldn't cut the carbs and the fats, okay? Protein, I would leave generally the same. But that's just me. If there's any misinformation here as far as the protein, I would always retract my information and make a note on this video. But as far as weight, usually weight loss, I would keep the proteins pretty much high and manipulate the fats and the carbohydrates. Once again, doing one of them at a time, slowly cutting the carbs or slowly cutting the fats. So for instance, if we're cutting the carbs, let's just pick an arbitrary number here, 350, okay, and we survive 4 weeks of tracking our macronutrients. Then we want to lower that to, let's say, 330, okay? And if we're losing weight and feel pretty healthy about it, keeping our strength, we could cut that down even to, let's say, 315, okay? And after a 4-week cycle, we're still losing weight and we still feel good, we could cut that down to 300. Now, you see how that works? Over time, I like to use the word cycles because we don't want to just arbitrarily, week after week, just cut. I would do it in once again, a 3 to 4 week cycle. That being said, the only way I would cut in a week or 2 weeks is that there's something terribly wrong. Like if you're gaining weight, okay, then that just probably means your macronutrients are actually off. So we want to slowly either bring it down for weight loss or slowly bring it up for weight gain. Okay, see how that works? Okay, good. So once again, you can manipulate the fats or you can manipulate the carbs. Now that's up to you and really listening to how the body feels. The good thing about this, once again, is it helps us keep our metabolism in check. This is not something where we cut, like I said before, drastically. It's a slow process. And it's also teaching us about foods and what they constitute and what works for the body. Now, speaking of foods, let's tackle this issue very in depth. Now, there's a lot of controversy when doing if it fits your macros and the food content in which people eat. Now, you'll notice that the 3 numbers are what you're following. This plan does not list foods in order to hit those 3 numbers. Now, that's the tricky part because you could hit your fats for the day, you could hit your carbohydrates for the day, and you could hit your proteins for the day eating cupcakes, eating chips, eating pizza, all those unhealthy foods that we associate here. Or you could hit your macronutrients eating, healthy fruits and vegetables, okay, healthy forms of fats, and healthy lean proteins. Now, I'm not specifically saying what you should eat, but what I will say is you do want to eat healthy, okay? You don't want to be silly about this. And just because junk food hits your numbers throughout the day doesn't mean you should be eating junk food all the time. A thing to note is the micronutrients of food. Those are very important to the human body. Those are the vitamins and minerals that the body needs to basically sustain itself in a healthy fashion. So let's keep this program in a good name and actually utilize it in a healthy fashion. I'm not telling you what to eat, but be smart about it. Now, another thing, we'll talk about fiber a little bit later, but you'll notice that when you're actually cutting weight or losing, or you want to lose fat, that healthier foods are actually a better option because your carbohydrates and your fat are a little bit restricted. You'll eat foods that are more healthy for you because of the fiber factor. They'll keep you full. So when you're cutting, eating broccoli makes a little bit more sense for the body than eating, let's say, a sugary cereal, because a sugary cereal is high in sugar, obviously, and it doesn't have the fiber to keep you satiated throughout the day. But eating broccoli will keep you full, keep you satisfied, and that's actually a little bit better on the body for cutting weight. Now, just give an example on the flip side. If you're trying to gain weight, all right, you want to still eat those healthy foods, but you could get away with eating a little bit more unhealthy foods. Reason being is unhealthy foods are a little bit more caloric dense. So it's going to be hard to eat a lot of calories in broccoli because it has so few carbohydrates that you're just going to be in a world of pain eating actually too much broccoli. So you got to really manipulate it for yourself. But as you start to do this, you'll notice that when you're cutting, a little bit easier to eat healthy. And when you're gaining weight, or your goal is to gain weight or bulk, you could get away with a little bit more unhealthy foods. So I hope that makes sense. And I talked a little bit about fiber. And let's just get into that now, just real quick, real briefly. Any good calculator will not only list the carbs, fats, and proteins, but it will also list fiber. Now, you could do the research on yourself. Once again, I'm not really hitting specific numbers for you. There's going to be a number for fiber, okay? So carbs, fats, and proteins, and fiber. Make sure you hit your fiber throughout the day. That's going to keep the digestive system regulated, and you'll have the benefits of that as well. So that's going to be another thing you want to track in addition to your macronutrients, the carbs, fats, and proteins. You want to pay attention to your fiber, making sure you're not getting too much or too little. So I hope this explains overall the general way of doing if it fits your macros. You know how to go about that, the things you need, the scales, and the way to track your food. But you could see that it's a more of a plan that you slowly either up the calories for weight gain or drop the calories for weight loss. You could also maintain depending on your fitness goals. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say about this. This is just a general overall video of how to implement this plan. I thought it would be fitting for the new year that I put something out like this for people who are going on to this program because I think slowly and surely a lot more people are realizing that you don't have to do anything extreme to hit your fitness goals. So this is a flexible dieting plan that's going to really get you to where you need to be without giving you a headache. You know, it's not that hard to write down what you eat or measure what you eat. And actually, the more you do it, I'd say you do it for 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 months, you could actually kind of eyeball food over time. But I suggest right away you always want to measure it via food scale in ounces or grams, and you really find out what the foods are about. You know, you'd be surprised what you eat. You know, if you're trying to lose weight, maybe you're not eating enough protein, or you were eating too much carbs, or if you're trying to gain weight, you'll realize that maybe you weren't eating enough at all. So just something to think about, and any questions you could ask them below. And yeah, IIFYM, if it fits your macros. Introductory video. Okay, everybody, take care. Bye.